I want to dedicate this video to a special person. Last year, Fickley City, Alabama and Smith Station lost a very special human being. Someone I consider a friend and someone I always loved to argue with. And the one thing that we argued more about was professional wrestling. And so, since this is my very first professional wrestler that I interview on this platform, I want to dedicate this show to Chad Dixon. Chad, everybody here in Phoenix City and Smith Station still loves you. We miss you. And one day I hope I go to heaven and sit right next to you and Andre the Giant and argue who's the better wrestler, Shawn Michaels or Hulk Hogan. Because we all know it's Hulk Hogan. Chad, this one's for you. When you talk about recording, when you talk about tag team wrestling, you think of the Road Warriors. You think about the Steiner Brothers. You think about the Midnight Express. But there's one tag team that I always wanted to meet. I've seen him live in Columbus, Georgia, many times. Ladies and gentlemen, Ricky Morton. How you doing,
All right
Ricky?
there. Joey, I'm doing fine. How about you, Jeremy?
I'm doing great, brother. Glad to be here, man.
You know what? It's such a pleasure to be on your show. You guys asked me to be on here, and I see at the first you mentioned a lot of tag teams there at the beginning. Some of the best tag teams in the world. We broke in at a time and era where the wrestling business was just changing, and tag team wrestling was, man, it was something else. And in our business, and I try to tell guys this all the time, it's not, because just about everybody can drop down, leapfrog, and drop kick, but it's only very few that know how to work. And I felt lucky because on my road, I wrestled some of the greatest wrestlers in the world.
Well, and speaking of Jeremy, I got so excited that Ricky Morton was on here, I forgot to introduce Jeremy.
You're good, brother.
Jeremy Sartain, he's the owner of Pro Wrestling Association. He's actually a customer of mine. I talked to him last night. He was asking me what kind of guests you got coming up. I said, you're not going to believe this. I got Ricky Morton coming. He says, I got to be on here. I said,
okay.
Hey, no problem. Ricky Morton, Jeremy, Ricky Morton.
Pleasure to meet you, my friend.
So,
Robert,
Robert,
man, I've watched you traveling up and down the road, so I'm pleasure to meet you, man.
Especially if you're a promoter.
Absolutely.
Dude, I'm 64 years old and I'm still in my prime.
Hey.
Okay, good.
So I want to talk, 7-time NWA champion, 2-time AWA Southern Tag Team champion, 3-time Mid-South Tag Team Champion, 10-time Smoky Mountain Tag Team Champion. I don't know how you lost the belt 9 times. 2-time USWA Tag Team Champion. What title means more to you than all these titles? I mean, these titles right here doesn't even come close to all the titles you won, from the CWA and all the other places.
One of the first greatest moment in my career, because you're talking about, it's the first time Robert and I won the NWA World Tag Team titles. That's the first time. But you said, how can you win them 9 times and lose them 9? But you see, buddy, in our business, and I'm not here to, kayfabe's going out the window, and I'm not here to insult anybody's intelligence. In order in our business to draw money, and it still works, and if promoters, not promoters, but if the big business, promoters too in the big business, if they learn about our business, the people pay to see me beat the Midnight Express. But they always screw me at the end of the match. You see what I'm saying? You only beat them, and that's, people ask me all the time about being tag team champions and being that as greatest opportunity, but you don't draw money when the babyface had the belts. The babyface has to chase the heels. So every time that I got a belt, I didn't want to keep them long because that's what the people paid their money for. That's the reason we didn't get business in those days. They paid to see me win, but he'll keep screwing me every week.
Yeah. Well, Ricky, I got to tell you a little secret.
Okay.
I'm still a mark.
All right. It's all right, buddy. Hey, listen to me. Wrestling's still real. All right. Go ahead.
So I want to talk to you about the Mid-South days. You had a big feud with the Midnight Express. Yeah, it got kind of, especially in the early days, it got kind of bloody.
Well, you talk about in Louisiana?
Yes, Louisiana.
Dude, that's when this all began.
I'm sorry?
That's when the feud with the Midnight Express first began.
Right. Well, when I first caught on to it was in the Mid-South, back when Cowboy Bill Watts.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. That's where it started at.
Mm-hmm.
The Midnight Express were in Memphis, and Robert and I were created in Memphis. But I'm like a rubber ball. I bounce around. So listen to me. See, in our business, I was telling you earlier, everybody can leapfrog, drop down, and drop kick. But our business has been at the right place at the right time. And it's still like that today. Being right place at the right time and knowing what to do when they ask you to do it. Well, Robert and I, where we were out of Memphis playing second fiddle to the Fabulous Ones. In our business, they were the guys there. They were Jerry Jarrett's boys. So, but, Lawler put us together earlier. That's a whole different story. And Bill Watts. And now this is what's so funny. If you go back and you watch before Robert and I came in there, it was a big man territory. Bill Watts was a big guy. He was the top baby face. And I'm going into 2 or 3 things here at a time. It was hard when you had territories. And everybody goes, man, I wish it would come back to territories. But you see, either a top baby face, he owned a territory. So nobody else is going to get over him. And if you understand what I'm talking about at this point. Now, see, Bill Watts, he was the top baby face. And, he was a big guy. And he always beat big heels. And he didn't like little guys. And it wasn't because he just didn't. But he wrestled big guys. He didn't like to wrestle little guys and put them over. So he was getting ready to retire just right off the bat. He wanted to retire. And he wanted a booker that didn't wrestle, because a booker that wrestles only pushes himself. And I imagine you had seen and heard that a few times. So yeah, right place at the right time. They've been shooting videos on us in Memphis, you know, and they did that on a lot of people there, but nobody else has seen that yet. So when they shot those, and we decided to go to Louisiana to work for Bill Watts, they shot them in there, but instantly we were rock stars. We were like MTV people, man. You know, you got videos of us, you got this going on. And this, but understand, when we first went in to do our first night at TV, Bill Dundee was smart. And they did that too at NWA. We went there, but it was with Ivan and Crusher Khrushchev. But we did it with Nikolai Volkov and Crusher Khrushchev in Louisiana. Here we come in as the All-American boys, and we beat them on TV for the titles. But what I'm getting to is to understand the reason it got over so good is because Abdullah the Butcher was the top babyface.
Whoa.
And the reason he was the top babyface is Bill Watts had just beat him. He was a heel. So Bill Watts had to turn him babyface to bring another heel in to beat Abdullah the Butcher for Bill Watts to wrestle him. See, that's the way.
Abdul the Butcher was a babyface?
Yeah, but do you understand what I'm talking about?
Yes.
See, he was a big heel till Bill Watts beat him.
Right.
But then they had to turn him babyface because they got another heel coming in that to beat Abdullah for Bill Watts to wrestle. But at that time, Bill Watts retired being it. Now they haven't never seen in a whole big territory like that. Young, flying baby faces. And then you had these great heels that come in. See, it was like a shock to the wrestling world. And in any business, when you draw girls, you draw guys. And the dude, and I'm telling you, it literally, you know, you stop back and think in 1984, you draw 40,000 people at the Superdome. That was unheard of. That's what really got all the pay-per-views and stuff started. Robert and I, and it wasn't just Robert and I, it was a bunch of us there. You know, yes, when we had a great territory, the Midnight Express. You know, there's nothing like Jimmy Cornette and the Midnight Express. I think that in history, that Robert and I and the Midnight Express will go down in history as the greatest tag team rival ever in the business.
So what's your relationship now with Jim Cornette?
I talk to Jimmy all the time. Jimmy Cornette's an asshole, but he knows he's an asshole. But that's Jimmy. That's Jimmy.
Yeah, that's
you
Jimmy.
Know what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
That's Jimmy. I mean, I love Jimmy. I made a lot of money with Jimmy. Jimmy it took care of us all the time, especially when he was in the offices wrestling, because we stuck beside him before. But you know, you listen to Jimmy. He has his podcast and all that stuff. I mean, he's literally, you know, first class without a doubt. You know, golden ticket asshole. But that's the way it is. You know, I mean, you can't change him. I don't hate him because of that. You know, I don't give a shit what people say about me. I don't care. You hear me? So I know what I done in this business and what I hadn't done.
Well, there's one match I really want to talk to you about. I want to ask your opinion on 1987 Starrcade.
Okay. Is that the Russians, or was that with Ole and Arn?
It was with Midnight Express. It was what was the match called? The Skyscraper?
Skywalkers.
Skywalker, yeah. 86, they did it with the Road Warriors and the Midnight Express. Yep. Then the following year, they did it with you guys.
Yes.
Well, how crazy you? Go ahead.
Yeah, but if you understand that, we did that in Louisiana way before the Road Warriors did it.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah, for Bill Watts, man. We did one in Shreveport, Louisiana. Well, we did one in the Superdome. That was one of our big matches in Tulsa. If you go back and look at some of Bill Watts' the archives of his matches, you can see Jim Ross was just starting in a business. Yeah, we started that all off. And but the question you was asking me about the scaffold matches, how was it? Or
Yeah, how
what
crazy you
meant?
got to be to do one of those matches?
No, buddy. I was by the time the Road Warriors and them got to it, see, we already done got the kinks and all this stuff out of the scaffold matches. I remember our first scaffold match we had in Shreveport, Louisiana. And I don't know if you've ever been to Shreveport or not, but when we had the wrestling, was the old building where they used to have the Louisiana Hayride with Elvis Presley. And see, this is things that you got to understand. When Robert and I come in there, we broke all Elvis's, because the buildings, we broke all his attendance records. We did see that, and that's slapping myself on the back. But I'm just trying to tell you how hot the wrestling business was. But our first scaffold match, Bill Dundee has one of Bill Dundee's ideas. And here we go, man. You got a 30-foot scaffold. I don't care who you are. When you're 30 feet in the air, it's high. It might not look high until you get up there. But at that time, they only had one slab, like the board that went across. And it's not but like a foot wide. And if you ever worked on the scaffold, they have those little spears that stick up to keep you from sliding. Here you are 30 feet in the air, and they don't have it down, and it's waving back and forth. Robert, he's not scared of heights. I am. He's shaking it, and he's scared of it. And the whole time somebody asked me, Ricky Morton, how did you like your scaffold match? I said, I don't remember. I was too busy holding on. But now listen, though, guys, you're going to love this. So we had one the first night, and I'm telling you, I'm holding on. Them spikes are eating me up. So I got them to put 3 boards up there, because the first one wasn't about this wide, but they're about a foot long. So now we got 3 of them, which is 3 foot wide. Then I got them to put rubber padding across those spikes. And if anybody's out there that works with scaffolds, you know what I'm talking about. So now they put that on there. Now, about the 4th night, we had a scaffold match. That thing is slick as glass, that rubber on top of it. So I never forget Little Rock, Arkansas. I went, you guys work on cars. You know what belt spray is? You put on fan belts of cars. It's real sticky. Yeah, I went and bought a can of that, and they had it set up. And I went up there. I got to the building early, and I went up there and sprayed it all over the top of it, right? One time we got on our match, and you, and I never forget, then his Condry stepped on it. It's like his feet stuck to the, it's like he was moonwalking. You understand me? It's like, okay. He's going, what in the hell's So I had to do away with that. But and then we worked, about the time we got to a lot of our big major cities, we worked out all the kinks out of the scaffold matches. And gosh, it was really, what it was great for the people to see. That was one of the great gimmick matches that you brought to it that naturally went over on. But then, next week, Jimmy Cornette fell off of it and tore his knee up.
That was in '86, right?
Yeah.
Yes, it was. And that was in Chicago, I believe.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite matches. But Jeremy.
Yeah, that's when I hit Big Bubba in the nuts.
Hey, Jeremy, I don't know who's the bigger wrestling fan, me or you, but you didn't come here just to look pretty.
Yeah, I was just thinking, Ricky, you've worked hundreds of thousands of matches together. I'm just curious, if you had to pick an all-time favorite match that you've ever had. I mean, absolutely, hands down, your number one match that you go to. What would it be and why?
That's a good question.
And I'm glad you asked me that because, I think I was figuring up the other day. I've been doing this, guys, for 46 years.
Wow.
I've had over 10,000 matches.
Wow.
I go, and especially my son and them, on TV now, you get everything. They bring up matches that I totally forgot. And when I watch it, I don't remember it. Now let's get to the point where you asked me the question, do I have a favorite one that sticks out? In our business, dude, you always want to be the best, and you always want to wrestle the best. Right place, right time. To lead it into this is to tell you that's when they were grooming Magnum TA to wrestle Ric Flair. Magnum TA had a car wreck and broke his neck, paralyzed him.
Yeah,
okay?
we remember.
Yeah.
Okay. Right now, I was telling you earlier, right place at the right time. Didn't you know? And don't get me wrong, it was a bad thing because I love, Magnum's a friend of mine. I love him.
Yeah.
But it's just the way the world turns. You hear me? Well, Flair needed somebody to wrestle. And at that time, Robert, Robert got hurt somewhere, and I had to do a couple of single matches with somebody, and Flair seen him. And, brother, he was, he flipped out. So I was there to wrestle Rick. Now, there's a lot of people in this world that say, I'm the best there was, best there is, the best there ever be. But there ain't nobody that can compare to Ric Flair. It's not only that, Rick, I had opportunity, when I first started, after he beat me up and rubbed my nose in the concrete, broke my face, cut my leg off, put me in a, no, I'm just kidding. But after they did all that.
We actually was going to talk about that.
Our first thing, our matches, we did our time limits. 17 nights in a row. Twice on Saturday. We did 3 shows on Saturday. We did TBS early in the morning. We did an afternoon show, then a Saturday night show. And on Sunday, you did Sunday afternoon shows and Sunday night shows. Every one of them was our time limits with Rick.
Wow.
I had the greatest opportunity in the world. But, hey, when the 17 of them was over, we did 6 hour-and-a-halves. But see, that was a different time and a different place. And this is why I always say I had to, Ric Flair, even though, you had a lot of other champions, Ric Flair, it's the reason I respected Rick and I think Rick is the best because Rick always gave you your money's worth. You had never ever seen, except for one time, and I'll tell you about this after a while, Rick, if he didn't go an hour time limit, he went 56 minutes in his match. That's just the way he was. He gave you your money's worth. He made you work. If you step in the ring with him, bro, you better be ready to go. I've learned so much. And see, this is what I'm saying. Matches that stick out. Yeah, that's a great. Hey, I had some fantastic matches with Ric Flair. Hey, I was wrestling him in a cage in Charleston, West Virginia. And, in 50 minutes in the match, you're soaking wet, you're sliding, and Rick's on the top rope, and he told me to grab him because he's acting like he was climbing over the top of the cage. So I'm on the second rope, and I reach up, and I grab him on the back of his tights. And when I did, my feet slid off the second rope, and it jerked his tights to his ankles. Now, he was standing on the top rope in front of 15,000 people, buck naked. Didn't have on nothing but a smile. You hear what I'm saying? Then he turned around. He turned around on the top turnbuckle and started shaking, in his old gimmick. And he takes a big backdrop off the top of the cage. And why did I laugh? But you had to be there to see. I have a lot of fans tell me that when I go up West Virginia. So I never forget that as the greatest thing I ever seen in my life. But Rick was one hell of a worker, and being with him, I don't know if you guys know or not, but I beat Flair for the world heavyweight title, but I gave it back. And the reason I gave it back was they wanted to, in the politics of the wrestling business, they wanted to split me and Robert up because me and Robert had got so hot in this wrestling business they couldn't handle us. And handle us was they had to kill us off. Try to.
What year was this?
And that's the politics of our business.
What year was this?
A whole different category. Go ahead.
What year was this?
What year?
Mm-hmm.
I was when I had the run with Flair, 86, 87, or whatever that was.
That's why I wanted to talk. I actually, you pretty much answered my whole question. I was going to ask you about that 86 rivalry with the Four Horsemen, about the time, they took you in the shower and smeared your face and
greatest angle in the world.
I'm sorry?
It's the greatest stuff in the world. And my hat's off to Dusty. Dusty was the booker at the time. Don't get me wrong, me and Dusty and I didn't always get along together. But see, one thing, and guys, I'm going to tell you this right here. Like I said, I bounce back and forth. Anybody out there, you go on. I have a live YouTube show that comes on every Sunday at 5 o'clock. School of Morton comes on at 5:05 every Sunday. And matter of fact, I'll be on there this Sunday. But what I'm saying is, Dusty, I learned a lot of stuff from Dusty about doing my wrestling shows. I learned a lot about the heel. Now, Arn, and I used to wrestle. When I was a young kid, I wrestled for Tully Blanchard out of San Antonio, Texas. His dad owned Southwest Championship Wrestling, Joe Blanchard. And Tully was a booker. A lot of experience. At that time I was a guy, y'all might know him because he was real big in Memphis, Ken Lucas. Myself and Ken Lucas were partners in Texas and being down there in San Antonio. That was another territory. Learned so much of building up to I got with these guys. And Ole Anderson didn't like small guys either. I had to earn Ole's respect. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about there.
Well, you did an interview. You did an interview with him a while back.
Yes, I sure did. I was fixing to tell you, Ole was a moody son of a bitch. He, I don't think he even liked ice cream. That's how bad he was. But he, we did a big angle with him. This is before the Ric Flair thing, because we wrestled Ole and Arn in the cages. We had the Rock and Roll Super Somber Sizzling Tour thing going on. And Ole, he never wrestled with young guys. And we shot the angle, and then we were in Hampton, Virginia. And like I said, it was a different time and different era. But, everywhere we went sold out. The little small towns that you went to, spot show like Oxford that we used to go to out of Memphis, where you drew 200 or 300 people. Well, it went from 300 people to 8,000, 9,000 people. You had to go outside on football fields. You had to move to the biggest town where the Coliseums were. And we did a thing with them, and we hit the ring on them, and we're fighting them, and Ole is holding on to the top rope of the turnbuckle, and I have hit him 745 times, I guess, and all he was doing was rocking. So I just stopped, and I looked at him, and I walked to the middle of the ring with all these people, and Arn and them just stop, and I just take a big old bump by myself. Then Ole goes, "What the hell are you doing?" I said, "Well, hell, you won't go down. I thought I would." And he told me, he said, "I don't know whether to whoop your ass and shake your hand." He said, "You got more balls than a Brahma bull." So, but see, after that, Ole liked me. See, because it wasn't my first rodeo. He was trying to blow me up. Was what he was trying to do, and I wasn't going to let it happen. Then after that, we sold out more arenas. We did the angle with Flair. We did I did so many angles. I told somebody the other day, on my school, they used to get her to do something to me. I said, after all the years in this business, what are you going to do to me? What? Run over me in a car? Throw me off the top of the Sears Tower? I don't know. But I've been through it all.
Now, before I turn it over, I want to turn it over to Jeremy for a couple minutes, but I do want to ask you about your WCW run when they split the Rock and Roll Express up. What was your feelings on that?
I hated it. You're going to love this. I'm telling you stories a lot of people don't know. Okay. Robert and I were working at WCW. They had people that were running the business that knew much about the business of me flying the space shuttle. You know, you had Jim Hurd in there. And don't get me wrong, y'all might like these guys, Eric Bischoff and all them guys, but they didn't know nothing about our business. Still don't. They kill us. Reason WCW ain't there no more. I mean, when you put a company $600 million in the hole, boy, you screwed up somewhere.
Mm.
How much?
But at the time, 600 million. All right. Hell, they paid themselves. You know, I mean, what do you think Eric Bischoff lives in Utah? I mean, he paid himself, what, $20 million a year? It's something like that. $11 million a year they paid themselves. You know, him, Scott Hall, and Kevin Nash, and all these guys. But you know what? I'm glad for them. Believe it or not, I am. But Robert and I were just stuck there. They didn't want to use us. We were still over too, buddy. And listen, guys, you're going to like this. We were in Knoxville, Tennessee, WCW. And I walked in, and Robert was just being real quiet. Just real quiet. And everybody walked out, and I walked over to him. I said, Robert, what's wrong with you? Do you feel bad? He says, I hurt my knee in the ring last night. And I said, you hurt your knee in the ring? I said, hell, you didn't get in the ring. I said all the way. But that's a different time, different story. But then when everybody got out of there, I went over to him. I said, what happened to him? You know, and that was years ago. His wife ran over him in the car. You hear me?
Mm.
His wife ran over him in the car. He pulled his britches down, and his knee was this big around, black and blue. WCW days. You know, it's a corporate business. They're doing all this stuff. And I told Robert, I said, listen to me. When the music starts, I go out and get everybody's attention. I'll be running around the ring, and you sneak your way up on the side of the ring. And when you sneak your way up there, whenever I tag you in, you fall in the ring. You know, you fall in the ring. Your knees hurt. Well, I did that. I come out, I got these people going wrestle Butch Reed, Ron Simmons, Teddy Longest. Dude, we're doing all this stuff, bam, bam, rock and roll, and Robert eases up, gets on the pole. I start the match off with Butch Reed. I tag Robert. He comes in and falls. Mind over matter. I told Butch Reed, I says, damn, did you hear his knee pop? Yes, I did. Corporate business. I go right into the finish when they beat Robert. They get Robert to the back. Now, they think he's done got hurt in the ring. That's my partner. It's my wrestling partner. They sent Robert to the University of Alabama. They resculptured his whole knee. I mean, everything. They took stuff out of it and resculptured. They paid for all the bills, and plus he was off for a year. They paid him $2,000 a week. All right, me, I'm on the damn roads hustling and bustling, not making $2,000 a week. I was lost in the shuffle. Okay, so they brought Robert back. You know, they brought Robert back. Remember? No, they brought Robert back. I turned heel on him. We had our match. Then we had our match on pay-per-view, and me and him both left with Smoky Mountain Wrestling. I could have did it. I could have did the York Foundation real good with Terry and Terry Taylor, but my heart wasn't into it. You know, you got to have the company behind you, man, before you can do anything like that. But Robert and I left, and we went to work for Jimmy Cornette and Smoky Mountain Wrestling. Best decision we ever made in our life.
All right, Jeremy. You kind of silent, man. What's going on?
I'm listening, man. I'm soaking it up, man. So Ricky, I know that we talked earlier, and kayfabe's dead. You know, it's a dead term, and man, that hurts.
Well, kayfabe is dead.
It is,
but I still catch myself. I'm from the old school, but
Yeah.
I just don't, my only problem is I just don't want the people to know the finish before I do. That's my whole point in this business, and that's where it got to for a while there. But go ahead, man. I'm sorry I cut you off.
No, you're good. It is dead. And as a promoter, I wrestled before I actually started promoting. I wanted to know what both sides of the business was like, and had some really neat opportunities. And got to wrestle Kamala at one point, and got to wrestle Brickhouse Brown, and a couple guys I looked to in the business. But long story short, I mean, it's dead. Kayfabe's dead, and in the wrestling business and in the independent circuit where I promote on is a struggle sometimes. Do you think that wrestling will ever be back, or could ever be back to the days where you guys saw it, like in the old territory days? Could it ever be back there again, you think?
Well, wrestling's not dead. It's just the people that's running it.
Yeah.
No, I'm serious. I'm just telling you that. I'm talking about off TV.
Yeah.
I doubt if it'd be like that. And like I was telling you earlier about territories, so you have to have a territory where the top guy don't own the son of a bitch.
Yeah.
It never works. That's why territories, when a booker come in, they pop the territory, but they only pop it for like 6 weeks because, they're only pushing themselves and then using their see, in our days, when a booker went into a territory, he brought all his own guys.
Yeah.
North Carolina might have all these guys and these guys. And then when the new booker come in, then when I got dogs too, when the new bookers come in, they bring all their guys and fire everybody.
Yeah.
So that was the hard part about it. Nobody, but the wrestling business will never die.
Yeah.
Robert and I still do great business. I'm 64 years old, dude, and I know I'm not here to impress anybody, but we still do great business.
Absolutely.
When you draw 700-800 people, independent shows, another thing is a lot of your promoters nowadays, they don't go out and hustle the town. They just have a Facebook, they put a poster on it, and that's all it is. Well, hell, if Elvis is still alive and he was singing at Oxford tonight and nobody knew about it, who's going to show up? Same thing.
I've seen that a lot in the business. Go into a town and there's a show 5 minutes down the road, and people don't know there's a show going on. We still hustle old school and hang out posters. Just watching some old school promoters along the way. That's the way we do things. But if you obviously you love the business, it's been your livelihood and you love it. You're passionate about it. Always will be. If you had an incoming tag team coming into the business, what was the best piece of advice you would give them right now?
The best advice I'd get them, okay, is to learn how to work. Okay.
Yeah.
Nobody know. You know what I was getting to earlier, and people out there, and I want you guys to go on my Facebook, School of Morton, and watch. And like I said, I do a show every week, but I only use the guys from my school. And when you look at them, you're going to say, wow. But the first thing, I do seminar. I got 2 seminars this weekend. And before you can teach anybody our business, you got to make them understand it.
Mm-hmm.
Understanding our business is a whole thing. And a lot of times when I do seminars, and it's like my dad, he refereed out of Memphis, Paul Morton at the time. And when he break him, he said, a lot of things I could tell you, but I'd be better off talking to that brick wall because you're not going to understand the damn thing I'm talking about. Our business is not about you. It's not about me. It's not about them. It's about putting asses in seats. It's about ratings on TV. It takes everybody in the business to work together to do that. Even when I come in, when I go into a show that wrestles that they run every month or every week, see, it's not my job to go in there and beat everybody in their territory. It's my job to go in there to have the heel screwed. Like I told you earlier. Only way is still there. And independent, if you get good heat on your heels the right way, but see, 99% of them don't, and I'm trying to tell you, they don't know how to work. They win the match, and they grab the microphone and kill themselves off.
Yeah.
All right, Mr. Morton. Mr. Morton, we got about a few minutes left. a couple more questions.
Yeah, go ahead.
Real quick, your memories of Columbus, Georgia, the Municipal Auditorium.
Oh, yes. I remember old building's tore down now.
Yes.
I was wrestling. This is great. Don Anderson tells me this all the time. We was wrestling Ole and Arn there, and on one of the finishes was Arn's got to hit me in the head with the belt. But when he hit me in the head with the belt, look, I don't know if you can see, but I have a scar. It was right up under it. The way it hit me, it slapped my eyebrow right here, and it fell down. Now I couldn't see. You see right this part here, it fell. It slid it all the way across. And I didn't know that, so I had to go to the hospital. But when I'm laying there and Arn hits me with it, and he goes, "Oh God, Punky, I'm sorry." And I looked up at him. I went, "Well, you stupid son of a bitch." And after that, that's what Arn always says to me when he sees me. "Well, you stupid son of a bitch."
Let me ask you this. I told you I still watch wrestling like a sport. That's just me. I have
what
to.
now?
I still watch wrestling like a sport. I have to. I mean, I can't.
Yes.
I can't. If I'm watching a movie, I don't want to know, who the director is. I'm watching. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
You have to watch it like it's portrayed to be a sport, and that's how I watch it. With that said, is there anybody that you used to like to work with besides Ric Flair? I mean,
God! In our day, I loved to work with all of them because at that time everybody could work. Nowadays, dude, it's hard. See, in our wrestling business, if you got somebody who can work, you can make everything in that match mean something. And to tell a story for the finish. Gosh, I love, I don't know if you guys know George South. He's still around. I love working with him. But even the underneath boys at our time were great wrestlers. Still have a lot of them. It's not many of us dinosaurs still out there, but the new guys, I like all of them. And I would tell you something else too. If anybody's listening to this, if you're a young wrestler in our business, everybody can drop down, leapfrog, and drop kick, but it's only few that know how to work. So the next time that you have a match, any of you out there, the next time you have a match, instead of you going to ask your girlfriend that tells you how great you are, or instead of you asking your best friend, "Oh, your moonsault was so cool," go ask somebody in the crowd that you don't know. And ask them they watch your match, because the only thing they got to remember, and this is what I was trying to tell you as a promoter a while ago, is the finish. They're going to know if you won or you lost. And if the heel screwed you, they got to know it. And if you do it right, they'll buy a ticket next time to come back and see it.
All right, Ricky, real fast. I got two more questions, and we got to wrap it up.
Go ahead, bud.
In the business, I'm talking like I'm a wrestler now. Just talking to you for last. In professional wrestling, you hear other wrestlers say that you're one of the best sellers of all time. Why do they say that?
Why do they say that?
Mm-hmm.
Because in my time, I was the greatest wrestler ever. And if you don't believe me, ask me.
Last question.
And Jeremy, it look real, buddy.
Last question, and I think I'm gonna give Jeremy one last question, then we're gonna sign off. You and Kevin Nash, y'all getting along now?
Dude, we always got along. You understand me? I seen opportunity. I was the first one to ever do that. I got on the Facebook was good. You can say what you want to there. And I went on there and called him everything about da. Then he bid onto it. I know Kevin. He knew me. When I wrestled Kevin Nash off of that thing in Fishersville, Virginia, we sold out the arena. Biggest payoff I ever had in my life on an independent show when I wrestled Kevin Nash for that. And you know what? He made twice more than I did. So what do you think Kevin Nash thinks?
I hear you.
Nobody gives a shit. This is a business, buddy.
Jeremy.
Lives will work.
Yeah. Jeremy, one last question. You got it, and then we got to sign off. Go ahead, man.
All right, last question for you, Ricky. Out of the young guys, I know you still watch wrestling stuff. Out of the young guys, up and coming talent that you see, on the scene, who do you think's the it factor in that capacity?
Oh, that's my, hey, you think I'm partial? That's my son, Kerry Morton. He's a champion. He's going to make it up. No, he's going to be good. Not about the young talent, but the young bucks. You know, I'm partial to a lot of guys in the wrestling business. The Hardy Boys, the Young Bucks, Chris Jericho. You see all these guys are here, man. I watched them grow up in a business. I watched them do it the hard way. And a lot of these guys, you know, they didn't go to big, especially like the Young Bucks. They did it all on their own. And buddy, now they're over the AEW. This wrestling business is the greatest business in the world. I've been doing it for 46 years. Now, there's an old saying, if you love what you do, you never work a day in your life. Well, that's a bunch of bullshit. Traveling, I work hard. And I love this wrestling business. I eat, sleep it. And if you want to be a wrestler, that's exactly what you got to do. And see, I'm talking to you guys right now, and I'm fixing to sound off here, but I'm headed straight. I've been to the gym this morning, and I'm fixing to go back to the gym right now. I'm not a bodybuilder, but I have to keep my body in shape at 64 years old, you know, because I still like giving the people their money's worth. I wanted to tell you, Jeremy and Joey, both, thank you for having me on your show. If anybody wants to see me, babyface, I mean on Facebook, Ricky Morton and School of Morton, Instagram, the babyface Ricky Morton, and Twitter, real Ricky Morton, School of Morton too. Okay,
Jeremy, Ricky Morton, it was an honor. The pleasure was all mine. Ricky Morton, you're a legend.
Thank you, bud.
Icon. I appreciate it.
Hey, I like that hat you got on. Is that Alabama?
Roll Tide.
You got to see me. I'm an SEC fan. Roll Vols. No, I'm just kidding, man. Have a good night. Bye.
Hey, pleasure, brother. Rock on.
Kelsey! Kelsey, you could have got hurt. Why would you do this?
I went to Angel's Thrift Store where Carolyn's Treasures keeps all their inventory and bought you your favorite ring.
Girl, you must have lost your damn mind.
If you don't like it, why not just kick your butt?
Kelsey, I'm sorry.